last talk of this conference, which is Diaper Dermatitis, Dilemma in Children, by Dr. Bhumesh Kattakam sir. Dr. Neena Khanna and Dr. Archana Singhal will be chairing the session. Dr. Neena Khanna is MBBS MD Dermatology, associated with All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. And Dr. Archana Singhal ma'am is Director, Professor Dermatology in University College of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Professor and Head of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. She has various achievements in her name, has been postgraduate teacher for last 25 years, was founder president of Nail Society of India, then convener SIG, neglected tropical diseases, and many, many more laurels to her name. We welcome you, ma'am, and request you to chair the session and introduce to us the speaker, Dr. Bhumesh Kattakam sir.
So, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Thank you, Professor Mathur, for having me on board. So, the talk is on diaper dermatitis by none other than Dr. Bhumesh Kattakam, who doesn't need any introduction. He's a very, very energetic and dedicated IADBL person, and he has been a pediatrician and a dermatologist combined. So I think we are already late. So I invite Dr. Bhumesh Kattakam to please present his talk. Thank you.
Yeah, sir.
I can see a beautiful face and virtual background.
Yeah.
Can
you see me?
Yes. You are becoming
Yeah,
smarter
sorry,
day by day.
sir. Since afternoon there is no power in my area because of heavy rain. So I managed with the generator. So that also lost. Now just now power has come.
So you have got generator or inverter?
Inverter. 4 hours. So it took 4 hours.
No.
Can I start?
Sure.
Please start, Dr. Bhumesh.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Talk on diaper dermatitis.
So the diaper dermatitis, the diagnostic dilemma. Always it is a diagnostic dilemma when you see a rash in the diaper area, especially in the infants. Of course, health is not everything, but without health, everything is nothing. That's why we are here to update our knowledge. Otherwise, we will be outdated. So in spite of the COVID pandemic. So, but the important thing, the skin health awareness should be started from the pediatric age group. So if you neglect the skin health by the age of 18 years, almost 80% there is a skin damage will take place. It's the responsibility of pediatricians as well as dermatologists to create a skin health awareness from the pediatric age group. Of course, coming to the case, the history always I used to tell to my PGs, history is the king in the field of medicine. Always try to spend little bit time with the patient. You will get almost we will get the number of clues to come to a conclusion of the diagnosis. So this is a female infant accompanied by mother complaining of bright red swollen lesions predominantly on the convex teeth with a duration of 1 day and disturbed sleep and irritability. And there is history of recent change in the diaper brand. On examination, you could see the erythema on the over convex surface of both buttocks as well as labia majora, and the sparing of the inguinal creases or gluteal cleft. This is a point to be noted. And the diagnosis, obviously, it is acute irritant contact dermatitis of diaper or irritant napkin dermatitis. Both are same, but always you should have a in the differential diagnosis of whether it is a irritant contact dermatitis or candidal diaper dermatitis or atopic dermatitis or allergic contact dermatitis or seborrheic dermatitis or napkin dermatitis. So always it is a diagnostic dilemma. So when you are dealing with a rash in the diaper area, so always you have to think of these three areas: the rashes caused by the presence of the diaper, or rashes exacerbated by the diaper but not directly caused by it, or the rashes present regardless of the presence of the diaper. So coming to the rashes caused by the presence of diaper, it could be a irritant diaper dermatitis predominantly seen on the convex teeth, whereas allergic diaper dermatitis, first to 2 years, fortunately, allergic contact dermatitis is rare, but if it is there, you have to see the skin in the contact with the diaper mainly on the waistline and the upper thigh. That is a clue to think of allergic contact dermatitis. For the PGs, it is called a Holster sign. And the rashes exacerbated by the rashes, you could see here the candidal albicans or streptococcal infections, staphylococcal or seborrheic, psoriatic, This we will discuss by case. And regard the presence of without the rash is the diaper doesn't have any role here. If you see the scaly, crusting, barely palpable hemorrhagic papules resembling petechiae, atrophy, deep ulcerations, you have to consider the Langerhans. The one point to think of Langerhans histiocytosis at birth, if you see all morphological type of skin lesions, macule, papules, pustules, vesicles, peripheral lesions, and with the scaling and greasy, the scaling, always you have to consider in the differential diagnosis of Langerhans and histiocytosis. And followed by the zinc deficiency, Kawasaki, I won't go in detail because the constraint of time. So the common differential, the Candida napkin dermatitis. So the important point to be noted, when you see primary irritant napkin dermatitis, that means that barrier function has been compromised. When the barrier function has been compromised, which is persisting more than 72 hours, the normal commensal of Candida albicans, which will multiply and produces the clinical manifestations by clinically involving the creases also. The convex erythematous convexities are associated with the involvement of creases that indicates the colonization of Candida by multiplication. That point has been noted. Along with that, you have to see the satellite lesions. The creases followed by satellite lesions, and the rash is almost a bright erythematous rash. And this vernix case is a simple, just physiological condition. Sometimes they treat it as a candida, but just if you wipe it, you could see, you could clear everything. There is no erythema on the white greasy material. So always physiological dermatosis has to be ruled out by detailed examination. Any the barrier function which is persisting, the damage barrier function which is persisting more than 4 days, 92 hours, there is a colonized staphylococcal or streptococcal will multiply and produces the rashes, the well-defined erythematous ulcerations, the difficulty in the passing the stools, and the child is irritable and crying may be associated with constitutional symptoms. You have to consider perianal streptococcal infections. When you diagnose perianal streptococcal infections, the topical therapy is not sufficient. Always you have to give the systemic antibiotics that should cover the streptococcal infection with the 30 to 50 mg per kg of augment in the amoxicillin, clavulanic acid, or cephalosporins. Of course, bullous impetigo is not a problem in the diagnosis. This has been ruled out in the differential diagnosis, and scabies itchy lesions with the involvement of palms and soles of vesicles in the infancy with the itchy lesions. Always you have to consider. I won't go into it. Atopic dermatitis is not a area in the diaper area because the moistness always the atopy is unlikely. But if you see, always you have to rule out in other. You have to look for other sites. Of course, as infantile seborrheic dermatitis, you have to look for the adherent greasy scales in other parts will give a clue to think of the differential diagnosis of infantile seborrheic dermatitis. Of course, so this is a child, 2 months old, so just without any examination, they have treated as a diaper dermatitis by putting the steroids. Always when you see the diaper area, you have to look for even the fungal dermatophytic infections. Fortunately, the dermatophytic, the tinea cruris, which is rare in the women and it's the rarest in the infancy, but because of the epidemic of the virtual epidemic of the dermatophytic infections because of misuse of topical steroids or changing of lifestyles, all this gives rise to we could see the tinea cruris, extensive tinea cruris even in the infancy. And when you see the well-defined, sharply demarcated, minimally elevated erythematous plaques in the diaper area involving the inguinal, which is not responding with the conventional therapy for diaper dermatitis, always you have to consider the inverse psoriasis. So you could see the inverse, well demarcated, bright red erythematous plaques. Because the scaling, because of moistness, you could not see the prominent classical scaling what we are seeing in the classical chronic plaque psoriasis. But well demarcated erythematous plaques, even though with mild scaling, always you have to consider with the inverse psoriasis. So the infections mimicking the napkin dermatitis, always you have to consider the candida, the streptococcal infections, bullous impetigo by the detailed history and examination, and the non-infectious disease mimicking diaper area, atopic dermatitis, though it's rare in the diaper area, but always you have to consider well demarcated conditions not responding with the conventional diaper, irritant dermatitis, psoriasis, and seborrheic dermatitis. Of course, you have to rule out by adherent greasy scales in the seborrheic area as well as in the scalp. So coming to the irritant napkin dermatitis, what it is? So it is very common condition, 50%, which is common in the first 2 years of life. There are no difference between the genders and races, but with the advent of super absorbent gel disposable diapers, the overall incidence which has been decreased. But one point, the breastfed infant seems to be less likely to develop moderate to severe dermatitis in comparison with the formula fed infant. So the almost as I told, that if it is that barrier function compromise more than 72 hours, there is a secondary infection. Either it is a fungus of Candida more than for 92 hours, the secondary bacterial infection. That point has been noted. So the golden period to initiate the initiation of treatment of diaper dermatitis is first 72 hours. So if you manage that, repair that barrier function, you can prevent the secondary colonization, either Candida or the streptococcal infection. So interaction between the wetness, friction, urine, and maceration will give rise to this inflammatory process of diaper dermatitis. I won't go in detail all this. Everything is there. But one thing is elevated pH that will give rise to the inflammatory process, and activation of the proteases gives rise to the erythematous changes. What are the factors which will, like GIT factors like diarrhea? Always you have to look for diarrhea or developmental abnormalities, and the use of antibiotics. Even the Indian Academy of Pediatrics, just like we IAP, what we are working for the theme IAD to fight the topical steroid misuse. Even IAP, they are working on the misuse of antibiotics for all the viral infections, all those things. Whenever it is indicated, if you find the bacteria, you have to give. And that because that disturb the balance of gut microflora. The gut microflora is very, very important to prevent the damage or bad microorganisms. And teething. So the teething, why teething? Whenever there is teething, there is the itching. So, but that's why the baby will keep everything in the mouth. That gives rise to the chances of entry of microorganisms and produces the diarrhea and subsequently diaper dermatitis. And inadequate skin care and topical therapies and allergic sensor chemicals, all those things. Since morning we are listening all, I won't go. So the clinical features may be asymptomatic, mild, moderate, severe, depending on the signs of inflammation. Even if it is severe, what you say that Jacquet's dermatitis, extensive and severe form of diaper dermatitis is called. So it's a very painful condition. So of course, diagnosis primarily based on the clinical diagnosis. So try to spend time on the history and examination. We will come to a conclusion of final diagnosis, because in the pediatric age group, investigations and all the blood drawing, it is very, very difficult and painful, and the cooperation is difficult. So workup for the infection considered if there are erosions, erythematous papules or pustules, you go for this gram stain, bacterial culture, KOH, antifungal, all those things. Skin biopsy should be considered when an eruption is, if you see the multiple morphological lesions in the diaper area which is not responding, always you have to think of Langerhans and histiocytosis. So the treatment approach is the three-pronged approach: non-pharmacological, then pharmacological, and the parent education. So just like our tricolor beautiful flag. So if you remember this, the most important is non-pharmacological therapy in this: gentle cleansing and choice of diapers. And the choice of diapers, to use cotton diapers or the disposable diapers or super absorbent, it's a matter of debate. But one thing, always diaper free area is more important, and minimizing exposure to irritant. So better to avoid the powders. Powder will irritate. So don't use any powders in the diaper area that will irritate. So mainly the barrier repair preparation contain zinc or titanium dioxide. It can be used. So that repairs the barrier damage. So these are a super absorbent. It has a 3 layers. So if the money is not a problem, you can use. Even cotton diapers can be entertained, because we are in developing countries. Even cotton diapers, but frequent change of diapers every 2 hours, especially in the first 6 months, will work. And emollient, all those things, emollient, topical corticosteroids. If there is an inflammation, you can use a short course of topical corticosteroids, but emollient is the important thing. So at least you have to apply 3 to 4 times because the half-life of emollient is 6 hours. Unlike sunscreens, there is only 2 to 3 hours. So you can use but topical steroid, just short course less than 2 weeks. Antifungal, if you see the groin area, so you have to use these all creams. I won't go in detail. So, but when you see the bacterial infection, the streptococcal perianal dermatitis, you have to use topical therapy is not sufficient. Always you go with the oral antibiotics. So 30 to 50 mg over a period of 7 to 10 days is a rule. So otherwise 5 days beyond the clinical clearance that will suffice, that addresses the subclinical point infective part. So the take home message is, as to summarize, so the treatment of diaper rash is a combination of measures. The let us remember A, B, C, D are a useful way to remember all these three measures, all these measures. So A is air out the skin by allowing the child to go diaper free area. That is more important. And as I said, the barrier repair. So the first golden period is first to 72 hours. If you address the barrier repair, so that prevents the colonization and the multiplication of normal commensals of Candida or streptococcal or staphylococcal. Subsequently, we can prevent secondary bacterial or fungal infection. And clean and keep the skin clean. That is more important. Always cleaning is very important. And the matter of disposable diapers or cotton diapers, the discretion of the treating person. And the education is very important. Always in my practice, I will implement the formula of M square. So first M is mother or caretaker, the second M is medicine, that is doctor. So unless until you involve the mother or caretaker, our treatment is 50%. Always you educate the mother in the management of the pediatric conditions, especially diaper dermatitis. So the take home messages: bright red erythema and convexities with the skin chopping, you have to look for napkin dermatitis. The satellite pustules with the involvement of creases, groins, the candida has to entertain. The mucoid exudates with the constitution, with or without constitutional symptoms, well defined demarcated ulceration, you have to think of perianal streptococcal infections. Always this should not be missed. Sometimes it may give rise to emergency. And honey color crust, of course, bullous sympatico. And greasy scales, always you have to consider the seborrheic dermatitis. It's because of malassezia purpura, which is normal commensal that multiply, because in the first 6 months, as age progresses, it will come down. Well demarcated plaque and diaper and extremities, always you have to look for napkin dermatitis. So of course, always we are working with team IAD. Well, last 2 years, this year team is the community and members welfare. Even it's a part and parcel of the team IAD will fight the topical steroid misuse to maintain good health for healthy skin and healthy child and healthy nation. I request all the younger generation postgraduates, please spread the message of fight the topical steroid misuse for healthy skin and healthy child. So thank you very much for your attention and for kind listening and sparing the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhumesh, for your excellent presentation. You have really given the nice points, how to differentiate between different dermatitis and dermatosis that happens in the perianal area and pediatric age group. Thank you very much. We come to the end of this session, and I thank again Team Podgicon for having me on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Archana, and
Thank you, Archana.
Thank you.
Thank you,
and,
Manish.
and thank you, Bhumesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And sorry for the disturbance.
Absolutely not.
It's fine. Nothing is. It's not in your hand.
Thank you,
Stop
Bhumesh.
apologizing.
Yes.
It's fine.
Now we go on to the
You compensated it by a wonderful talk.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.